All right, let's try this again. So we have a Saturday Night League play Hyperspace format in preparation for the Hyperspace trials coming up. This is San Antonio, Texas, February 20 something. I can't remember the exact date. This is a kickoff for our league night. I have Charlie Garcia on the left-hand side, and we have a new player, John, on the right-hand side. I grabbed these two guys because I wanted to get something a little bit more meta on stream. They're both, Charlie's a little inexperienced, and John is newer to the game, so it actually shows a little bit about what the list can do, and even in inexperienced hands, which I think is important because a lot of players are just going to pick up things just to play because they know that they're effective. And so you can kind of see the strengths and weaknesses of lists in different scenarios. Charlie's list is pretty effective. It's those are 3 Blue Squadron rookies with shield upgrades, and he's also going to wedge with a shield upgrade. John's list is a little off meta in regards that he has Dormants, a Star Killer base, Epsilon, and Quick Draw. Quick Draw is hidden behind the Epsilon. Of course, Dormants allowing you to place ships beyond range 1 of the side of the board. The Epsilons have advanced optics, which is a little different, and they also have, one of them has a hull upgrade. Quick Draw is going to have shield upgrade, fanatical, and I believe that the one title gunner that allows you to throw more dice out of the front or whatever it might be. I think on a typical setup for this, it is, I can't remember the system card, but it's the one that allows you to essentially place tokens whenever you place your forces at whatever time you set them or whatever it is. And it kind of allows your first joust to be very, very tokened up and incredibly, all your dice modifications are going to be up front. And so you're going to have the potential to first joust very well. It would have changed the outcome a little bit on the joust in this game. I don't know that it would change the outcome totally throughout the game, just because of the target priority of both players. Of course, Charlie's moved up 4, tried to take target locks on the Epsilon. One of them was out of range, so he couldn't take his target. Epsilon moved up, took a target lock on the closest T65 to the bottom of the screen. Wedge moves up. He's going to target lock. Quick Draw is going to move up here, and he's going to target lock on the T65 in front of him. I think John is spreading his damage out. That looks like a strategy of his. I think it's more effective to focus in on one target, but he's going to try to spread it thin so that he takes them down at the same rate. So Charlie has initiative. Wedge is going to fire first. It's going to be range 2, target locked. Checking for range there. He's just outside of range 1. Which I think, if you got them all in range 1, I think that would have been probably the end of that Epsilon, especially without the reinforced there. 2 focuses and a blank. He's going to target lock them into 2 hits and a focus, I think. Of course, Wedge's ability reducing the target's agility by 1. The Star Killer base pilot will not roll defense dice for that one shot. Quick Draw is going to fire back at the T65 in front of him. Range 1, so that's going to be 4 dice. The only mod, of course, being the target lock and no focus, but I don't think he rolls any focuses, so I don't know that being double modded or coordinating there would have made a difference for him. And Quick Draw doesn't take shots in return. Charlie's going to go purely after that Star Killer base, which is good. Tries focusing him down, so Quick Draw wouldn't get the chance to double shoot this round. Strength of Charlie's list, of course, being that shield upgrade gives him a lot of hit points. So Charlie takes 3 hits there. It's going to be 3 shields off of his pilot, and leaving 4 hull remaining. Hit points are kind of a big deal in 2.0, I think. Looks like he rolled a blank there. John's going to take 2 more hits on Starkiller Base, leaving him with, looks like, two shields left on him. The far target's going to roll natties. That's just good. I think John's going to roll an evade here. So that's 2 more shields down. He's in the hole this next round. So I think with reinforce, he wouldn't have had the damage output, but he would have still had shields left. Here comes a range 1 shot from the T-65 in the front. Try rolls fairly well. Spends the target lock. I think he's going to wind up with 3 hits and a crit here. And I think in that situation, with a reinforce, he would have more than likely not have taken the crit, or he might have, but at least it wouldn't have been so much in the hole when it happens. So 3 hits and a crit. I can't read what the crit is. It might be something with action, but we'll see. I got a glare, and the sleeve covers kind of blur it out a little bit. So he has 2 hit points left on the Starkiller Base. Of course, quick draw and Dormit's still being full. He's going to return the favor. He's going to fire 5 as if it's range 1. That's okay, though. So, again, Charlie's effective hit points on the T-65s with the shield upgrade, 7. John's going to roll. I believe he's going to wind up with 4 hits left on the table when all said and done. There's 3 hits, a focus, a blank. Rerolls a focus and the blank, and 2 4 hits. Alright, so 4 hits. Charlie's going to blank out here, I believe. And I'm going to move the mic. So he's going to take all 4 there. Leaving that. Oh, see, and Charlie thought he was shooting at the same one too. Which I think, I think focus firing is always a little more effective than spreading the wealth. But there's probably a valid argument to both ideas. So the game state at this point is Starkiller Base, 2 hit points left with a crit. Not sure what the crit is. And then Charlie has 2 T-65s that are smoking. One's missing shields and the other is in the hole. I'm going to explain what's going on here so that this next 2 rounds, movement's going to get a little wonky, and they do a decent enough job of returning the game state. But I'm gonna probably talk to him. This could be a lesson too. I guess I could show Charlie this and they can understand. So Charlie's gonna dial in 4 straights, but he grabbed the 5 straight. Now those templates he's using don't say 5 on them. They have 5 dots, and so if you don't count those dots, and you're not, obviously if you could miss that, right? And that's okay. So Charlie's gonna blow past here with all 3 of his T-65s, and then John's gonna move, and then they're gonna realize that they made a mistake, and they're going to try to fix it. And the way they fix it, it makes the fix wrong. So Charlie, they'll do 2 of the ships are going to be fine. They're effectively, if they wouldn't have done a 5 straight, they would have done a 4 straight. The first, that top one would have bumped. Quick draw, that's okay. It's easy enough to fix. The bottom one would have bumped Starkiller Base, and that's easy enough. That top one, Charlie puts a 1 behind it, and then they move it back 1, and they both kind of let that go. That would not have been a 4 straight. That would have actually been a 3 straight. So a 3 straight plus a boost is essentially a 5 straight. And so that ship would be in a little bit of a different position. Not that it's at the end of the world. I think the net results would have been the same, but either way, that's not how you fix that one. And then after this turn, I'll show you guys another one where it's kind of learning experience in regards to what you would do when ships bump or whatever they might be. So they're going to catch the misplay here. And they're going to try to reset this. And like I said, they do a decent enough job. So what essentially is going to happen is the 2 target locks that moved would not have. And then John's going to take a jam action and drop that other target lock anyways. So Charlie's going to be modless on those 3 ships. And here Charlie's explaining that he used a 5 on accident. Which is good on Charlie. He caught it, instead of staying quiet about it. try to repair the game state. John's going to move back a little bit here. See, he's going to put that 1 there, and that would not be a 4 straight. That would be a 3 straight with a boost. But that's okay. He probably would have been about half a measure up. Well, in other words, he'd probably be right where that template is lying. And they just pick up these two. There's a couple times where Charlie bumps, and how he bumps is a little bit messier than I think just putting the template on the side and sliding them up. But that's okay. The game state is essentially where it would be. He's going to return the target lock back to where it originally was. He didn't spend it last round. And I was under the understanding that, and he might have just missed it, but I think that back one is dormant, and he's a 3, so he should have moved after that front one would have moved, but either way. Alright, and I think that the next move here is Star Killer Base. Yeah, he's going to jam, so he's going to drop that target lock. I believe that one also did a 2 bank. I think John's trying to get the circle started. You know, one of the biggest weaknesses to these lists is their mobility. And at some point, you got to get them turned around, which is very difficult to do. And so, to win with that, to win with that list is when do you decide how many shots do you get in before you have to start turning those things around. Hopefully, it's maybe 2 with the front one, maybe 3 with the back one, depending on how your joust works out, how fast you go, or whatever it might be, how many times you all stop. See, he's going to lay this template down, and then he's going to try to slide up to it and then pull it out. He should just put that on the side and slide it up. But that's okay. So, for the most part, his ships are actionless. I don't know what that crit is, but I think it has something to do with actions, because he didn't take any actions. So no, it wasn't next turn where that mess up happened. So John's going to try to 1 bank in, right? And he's going to pick up some ships to see if it fits. I mean, and it doesn't fit. But when they reset this game state, and this is why if you don't have to move ships, don't start moving them. So it's not going to make it, right? I mean, it's pretty clear to see. So where the game state would lie is that ship would have never moved. But that's not really the way they play it. And it jacks it up just a little bit. So you saw him, it bumped. It's not going to fit. He started to move the template. So now the ship's in a little bit of a different position. Though I think both players should recognize that ship just would not have moved. And it's bumping 2 ships right now. So and that's where it lies. And if you watch this too, when they put the ships back, Wedge and that T-65 changed positions. Again, I don't know if it's the end of the world, but that's not where they would have been. But why that matters here with these guys is because they push quick draw back up, but he's only bumping Wedge now. And so they're gonna say that he has that front ship able to shoot it, and he wouldn't have. He would actually only have 1 ship to shoot at, unmodified, so the results might have been the same. But then they're going to let the shots come back in the same order, right? So Wedge is going to shoot here. He's going to fire 3, looks like maybe 1 hit. That epsilon's going to lose 1 shield because he can't roll. So if you guys, this was confusing me at first when I was watching this. I was like, well, he's obviously going to shoot at the injured ship that has 3 hull left, and because he can't shoot anything else, but he doesn't. He's going to shoot the one right in front of him, the one that actually moved from wedge. And so I think he's going to roll 3 hits here. And Charlie's going to blink out, which would have been a dead ship. Or maybe he rolled 4 natties and Charlie rolls 1 evade maybe. Yeah, there's 1 evade there. So it's going to be 3, right? Well, they're calling it on that other one. So I got to explain this. So Charlie, he's a little bit more inexperienced, and John, he's newer to the game, so that interaction needs to be clarified for both of them. So now Charlie's going to fire back. And see, this is where it for all intents and purposes, that T-65 is dead. And then he has a fully healthy T-65. But again, John fired at the healthy one. And so Charlie's going to fire 2 back, which probably wouldn't, right? Because then he's going to get another shot off. And so Charlie's going to try to whittle down. So he gets 1 natural hit. And he's going to lose. Got an evade. So Charlie's going to fire again. He should not have both of those shots at quick draw. So 1 hit again. And so John's going to lose 1 shield here, and he's going to fire back. Now, he's unmodified, and I think he rolls like all focuses or something like that. I think Charlie might lose a ship here anyways. I can't remember the outcome of this one, but that epsilon, I think they're going to cause an arc of that wounded T-65. So here's John's shot. I believe those are all focuses. Dermot should shoot first here, but they're going to let the C-65. They're treating it as it's a 2, and it's not. I think those might be 4 natural hits. It's a good roll for Charlie. But they got that round all jacked up. Which is okay, whatever. That's the last of that one. Maybe they called it out. I don't know. Maybe I out edited that. Or no damage was taken. Maybe there's no shot. That must have been what it was. There's no shot. Charlie's gonna do some K turns here. Those front 2 are gonna bump, I believe. Bump and a stress. Charlie probably could have talon rolled there, those 2, for a better position, but he's trying to keep them all lined up. So here's where Charlie just needs to put it on the side and slide it up. There you go. Epsilon's got a 2 turn down. And then a 2 bank from the other epsilon. Looks like no actions were taken, I think. There's a 4K from Wedge. And then I believe we get a sloop out of. And I haven't played Quick Draw yet. I've only played against it a couple times, but to me, I don't know that I would ever sloop. I think I would always just move my arc backwards. But I don't. I have to read the card. I don't know if I'm still firing the same amount of dice or not. So it looks like Wedge is going to take a shot at Quick Draw. Quick Draw should be stress and no action. That's the surest way to mess with Quick Draws if he has no actions. Looks like one shield came off there. So Quick Draw going to have 2 shots again this round. I think he takes one of these X-Wings off the board. So Wedge is the only uninjured T60 or T65 right now, which is good. I think that's kind of the way you want it if you're Charlie, because you want T65 to. You want Wedge to live. You want the T65s to be the meat shields. You're fine. So he's going to shoot at the wounded one here. Maybe 3 natties. That could do it for him. See what he takes here. It's going to kill him for sure. Yeah, so I think it's 2 hits and a crit maybe. Yeah, 1 crit. I like those bigger cards because you can see the picture on them. And if I wanted to, I could go. I mean, it doesn't matter on this one because he's dead. But I can see the card, and I can go back and look at the deck and see what that picture is without having to read the text. That's kind of a cool thing. So now he's going to take his normal shot. Looks like he's going to take it at Wedge, maybe. It's hard to see. Looks like nothing, maybe? Or 1 hit, there you go. Range 3. Looks like an evade. I don't think Charlie has a shot. We don't use, just to kind of keep the list more simplified for Charlie. You know, he's young, so to remember everything is kind of tough for him, especially if we're going to play a 3-game tournament or something like that. So we don't use his S-foils, but obviously his S-foils would be really good if he decided to put them on there. But he does use his barrel roll fairly effectively, so that's always been good. So try 1 bank there, drop the stress and barrel rolled away from the debris. The other one looks like a 2 bank to drop stress. I think he's going to target lock here. Of course, it's going to look a little wonky. If you're just looking at this without sound, just understand, or if you missed the last move, that front T65, or the one closest to the epsilon, is on a magnet, and the model is turned towards the side. So it's actually facing the epsilon right now. Epsilon 2 turns, because what else would it do? Doesn't really have a great dial on it, but it will get itself turned back around eventually, and it'll have some shots. He'll have. So I think so far it's. I don't remember if that one's even taken a shot yet. It might have, might not have. Which is not good. If you only have 3 ships, you really need those to kind of put out some output. Again, I don't really know what the crit is on the other epsilon. It doesn't ever really seem to come into play. And just thinking through in my mind what it could be, you know, there's panic pilots and there's before you engage, and I haven't seen any of those trigger unless I mean, there's always a misunderstanding that even if you don't shoot, you still engage. So whatever that says, it needs to trigger. But I would have to have been looking over the 2 bank for the epsilon that's trying to get itself turned back around. Those epsilons, these lists really only have like, a small window of opportunity to actually do damage. So I mean, it really is relying on that kind of train of shots. So once the first one's out of combat for a little while, it has the one behind it shooting, kind of making up for its lack of firepower. And if you miss that opportunity, or if you disrupt that, it can cause a lot of problems. Of course, like I said before, not allowing quick draw to have actions is really good. So, it constantly being stressed is never going to be really good for it. So if you ever catch in a situation where he's going to throw down the sloop or the one turn and stress itself and not have actions, then by all means let it shoot at that round, because it's not maximizing its effectiveness. Of course, the list I think really does want to coordinate. And again, if it's stressed, it's not going to be able to coordinate. So it's kind of another one of those things where you don't want it stressed ever, unless it just needs to turn around somehow, right? So he one bank there, drop the stress, and he's going to target lock wedge. I don't think Charlie's only going to have 1 shot this round, but he's going to try to put a blast into wedge, which isn't a bad idea. I want wedge off the board ASAP. Target lock 2 blinks, it looks like. Might be okay. 3 hits. Yeah. So and see the list Charlie has is still safe because he has he has those 3 shields. So 1 evade maybe. Charlie's gonna start grabbing cards here, but he has shields left over. I'm going to get an alt art card for Charlie for wedge, so he doesn't have to. It stands out a little bit more. So he lost 2 shields there, so that's good. Charlie probably has a range 2 shot into that bottom epsilon. Alright, let's see how he does here. Looks like a 93. I rolled pretty well this game. So there's 1 shield. And what do you got here? What do you got? I think this one starts to eat a bunch of crits too, which is surprising considering I don't see repercussions of those crits ever. So, if it's the one where the ones where you engage and you get the ion, or you take the damage, or maybe one of them's hull breach, right? Maybe after that all of them are crits. If the double stress, I don't see that. So any one of those, any number of those, I don't really see. So kind of hard to say. Moving into the next round here. Got 2 turn. I think he's going to take a target lock here. See, if I was Charlie's opponent too, I would kind of insist on measurements. I think it's in, but I still would do it. Just out of practice. Makes it less likely to make a mistake in the future. Next one here is going to do looks like a 4 straight. Going to close the gap on that wounded epsilon and try to take it off the board, which is smart. It's actually a good, because that other epsilon's not going to be back in the fight for two or three more rounds, so you're probably not going to get quick draw on a pinch just yet, so go ahead and take his firepower off the board. He's going to do an action there, and with no repercussions, so it's kind of hard to know what those 2 crits are. Unless there's maybe both hull breach or fuel leak or something. That could be what they are, is fuel leak and hull breach. Got a 2 turn in from the bottom Espelon. He's in a target lock. Both those T-65s are without shields. They got full hull, so 4 hit points. Got a 3 bank down, it looks like, from Wedge, and he's going to make that. And when I first saw it, I didn't think he did, but you'll see Charlie kind of push him back into, nuzzle him into the guides, and then he'll take a target lock. This is going to be a 1 turn from quick draw. Again, another stress move, so no actions. So unmodded, but I think he might, if I remember this one correctly, he rolls fairly well. And so Wedge range 2, he is into, I can't remember. Oh yeah, he has 2 hit points left on him, so he could kill him here if he rolled. Looks like he rolled all focuses. So 1 hit, yeah. So that could have killed him. There's 1 hit point. That's gonna let that Espelon shoot back. Which is unfortunate for Charlie. Could have. I think he might lose his ship here off the. So he's gonna range 1 in the back of Wedge. Wedge has 1 shield left. 4 hull. Oh, rolled natties, I think that's what that looks like there. Charlie will probably blink out here. That's 3 hits. Looks like 1 evade, so it looks like a hit. And a crit. I believe that's the one where every time he does an action, he has to roll. If he rolls a hit or crit, he gets a stress. I rolled 1 hit, 2 focuses. Or 1 crit, I guess. I rolled 2. So that's going to kill that one. Now he does get a simultaneous fire. Those 2 crits go in. So that could have been hull breach, right? So again, it's hard to say if those were actually crits or not, but no, actually I think they were actually straight up crits because the last one went down as a face down damage. So that is not range 1. I wonder why he's rolling 5 dice. There's nothing that I know that would do that. I mean, trick shot, if He's firing through debris, but that could have been a straight up miss. I don't see any damage cards going down. Or maybe it was one hit and he rolled an evade, maybe. Charlie Talon rolls. One of the best moves is the T65. Of course, it is better on the T70 because when you're named pilots, that's more than likely not going to be a stress move for you. So he's turning all his T65s around, which is good. Get all that firepower back on your opponent. Epsilon looks like it. Maybe it might have been a one turn. It's hard to see there. I don't think it was, though. Mostly because I think he all stops next round, but also because I don't see stress going out. Oh, and so quick draw is stressed, or it should be, because he one turned last round, and so he wouldn't be able to coordinate quick draw. He's going to action one of his cards down. Can't tell you what it is. Could be weapons failure too. It's always a thing. I think Wedge is going to boogie here. He does a not K turn. I don't know why he wouldn't, but he's trying to protect him a little bit. All right, I think I miscalled something earlier. I just looked at my phone to see. I don't think he has advanced optics. I think he has heavy laser cannons, and that's why he's rolling the extra dice. I forgot that was a thing for the epsilons. If they have cannons and they use cannons, they can fire one extra dice or whatever it might be. So quick draw, one straighted and target locked. Looks like he's going to spend that target lock. See what the outcome is there. 3 hits, or I think it's actually 2 hits and a crit, which again is good for Charlie because as long as it's not a double, he lives, which is good. I also miscalled earlier. Dormance is not a 3, it's a 2. That's why they're moving at the same. Just double check my phone real quick. Get all that straight. Probably should have got it straight at the beginning of the video, but that's okay. Might make a note. Just so I know people don't always watch these videos all the way through, so if they're watching the first part not quite understanding what I'm saying. Charlie's going to return some shots here. He's going to roll 2 hits. It looks like I think he's going after quick draw here, which I guess is probably not a bad idea. Because there goes all of quick draw's shields, I believe. So that's the last time. But see, I would have fired with the one in front, and that's just tired. It's just, that's just understanding the game a little bit with Charlie. because if he would have fired with the front, and he would have, I think he blanked out there, which is good. And that way, if he wouldn't have blanked out and he would have actually killed that one, then it would have been, because if he would have killed that one right then that would have been a wasted shot from Charlie. Let's see. So blanks. It looks like only a crit goes through there, so I guess he rolled a 2 focuses and a crit. Couldn't tell you what the crit is. It doesn't seem to affect too much. Could be actions, right? It's always a thing. So he is going to check. So unmodified on the wounded T65. I believe he takes him out this round. Let's see what the rolls say. Oh, and that is a good roll. It looks like naturals. That's a dead ship. So that epsilon smoked that T65. So it's 1, 2 hits, 2 crits. So that's 2 ships down for Charlie. He has... His other ships aren't in great shape, but considering the other side of the board, it is still a relatively evenly matched game. 2 newer players playing 2 fairly potent lists. One bank going in for the kill. Got a target lock, quick draw, try to take that thing off the board. Not a bad idea. This is gonna look like a bump here. Wedge with the K-turn. Not a bad idea. Get everything pointed in the right direction. That's what you need on a list like Charlie's. You want to take advantage of the all the red dice going forward. Looks like a sloop here. Again, that's going to keep quick draw unmodified. Make it difficult for him to clean up any ships. Take a range 3 shot. It's a safe shot now because quick draw only has 2 hit points left, I believe. If you took him off the board this round, you have a shot at that epsilon next round with it. It has 5 hit points. It has whole. I'm checking the card. I believe that's the one where if you do an action, you got to roll dice. They didn't do that last round. I think they both missed it, but that's okay. That happens. So it was 2 focuses and a blank, I think. So nothing out of it. Quick draw is coming back at a range 1, I believe. There's the stress. And I don't know. Stay at 1 hit. Not a great roll. Just tough, especially when you need a... That thing has 4 hit points left, so... Charlie's relatively safe. Yeah, roll your dice there, Charlie. Let's see. He's got an evade. So now, Charlie's T65 into Not sure what they're going to call here. Three dice. Looks like 2 paint. Let's see what happens here. 2 hits. So he's down to 3 hole. He's going to return the shot. I think he might have rolled 2 natural evades there. Oh, maybe not. Maybe 1 evade. Nope, nothing. Focuses. So he took 2 hits and a crit. Leaves him with 1 hit. That's a weapons failure. So 1 hit point left. Again, the strength of the T65 is its hit points. So hull upgrades and shell upgrades work really well on them. They're going to set their dials. I believe we're walking into the last round. Time is called after this one. This is a good move here by Charlie. He's going to K-turn. That's going to get him behind no matter what John does. It's going to get him behind that epsilon. So if he gets lucky, even though he's going to be double stressed here, if he gets lucky, he'll get to shoot. He's got to live through quick draw, but that's doable. Rolls a hit here. Of course, flying through debris, hits don't count, only crits. So the epsilon all stop. And see, that's what's good about that, is that no matter what, Charlie can still stay out of that arc. Charlie does a little bit of a miscall here. He worries about that damage. He actions it down. He really shouldn't have. He should have just taken the action and taken the stress, because it's the last round. But again, it's an inexperienced play, but that's okay. I mean, it's a thing. This is a close game. This one, see, I think John's gonna 1 straight maybe. And target lock that T65. I think John has a misplay here too. Watching it the first time, I didn't understand the list 100%. He's going to target lock here. He's going to be firing through debris, so that's helpful for Charlie. I didn't know if he had fire control system or not, but when I watched this roll, maybe I just missed all this roll. It's because Charlie's going to roll here, and it's going to be, that might be natties maybe. I think those are focuses. Yeah, 2 crits. Go through. It's going to kill quick draw. Quick draw is going to fire here. So I'm not 100% sure. Maybe I got to go back and read Fanatical, or maybe it allows you to turn a focus into a hit if you have no shield. I think that's what it is. I got to go back and read it. He's going to roll here. He's going to roll a hit and a focus. Maybe 2 hits and a focus. Can't exactly remember 100%, but I think those 2 focuses, a blink and a hit. So he's going to sit there with 2 hits. He doesn't spend a fire control, and Charlie rolls 2 evades there, so he stays alive. Charlie's going to fire here into okay. I think it's a hit crit, I believe. Might be an evade, so I think the crit goes in. It's a double. And this is the last round. So he has 1 hit point left. Charlie wins on points. A couple inexperienced mistakes go on there, but that is part of the game for sure, right? That happens 1,000. I've played 100, 200 tournaments, and in every single one of them, all players make those mistakes. So you got to see a little bit on stream. I'd like to see it a little cleaner for a little bit of a better example of what the list could do. But at the same time, this is probably how you're going to see it in match play also. So you're gonna get players of all caliber playing you with these lists, and so this is kind of its a representation of how it works. So Charlie killed 166 points, and John killed 140 something odd points. So Charlie wins on points on this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the match. I'll try to get more out so that again, this is league play. It's casual, but the idea was that we all get Hyperspace list out there and just kind of put them out there and then watch, right? And so hopefully this gives you an example of how what to expect out of these lists if you see them in the Hyperspace trials. All right, guys, I'm going to cut this now.